Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today we're going to be going through the IR section of the Zoom B6, and we're going to start with just the compressor and the pre 1073, which is a Neve 1073 preamp clone. And the 160 comp is a DBX 160A compressor, rack compressor, clone. So, or emulation, whatever, simulation, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes you feel better. But here we go. Here's just the compressor and, well, here's my bass dry first. We always try to start dry with here we go. So that's my bass dry right there. Now, let's add the compressor, and here's the settings. So those are the compressor settings, and now let's add the preamp. So as you can see, it's a very, very nice preamp there setting. So we're going to start with this Aguilar 410s with a tweeter. It'll be under AGTW, which is short for Aguilar, and it's the 410s with a tweeter. So this actually this IR was done with two mics. It was done with the SM57 and the D20. Um, so basically, you can mix. I mean, you can't mix the two mics in here, but what you can do is you can add some lows and some highs. If you change the balance isn't between the mics. The balance is between, if you go to the right, that's the normal polarity, and then if you go negative, that's reversing it. So, and I personally like all my IRs around this setting. So I'm gonna show you guys these IRs at these settings because this is pretty much the universal settings I use for mine on here, and it makes it sound close to what I think my bass amp, my cabinet sounds like in a room, if that makes any sense. So I don't really like it set any other way. You guys feel free to experiment, but I got to go through a lot of these, so I don't have time to go through every single setting with them. So these are the baseline settings I'm gonna be going with for the most part. Lows around 60 to 70, highs around 60 to 70, and the balance, keep that around -11, -12, somewhere around there, which means 89% of my dry signal is what you're hearing, and the other little 11% is the cabinet added in. So, and keeping the volume, you got to push the volume a little bit because we have the balance a little lower on it as well. So those are the settings for that. Let me see, is it on? Yep. All right, so let's get a little bit of that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that sounds like. And of course, I'm using this Neve preamp because it's really clean and it doesn't color your sound as much as the amp models do. So of course, if you're using this with one of the amp models, let's see what I got. Pulled up here already. So say I wanted to use one of the amp models. So if I wanted to use a full SVT setup, hold up, did I save this patch already? I think so. Yeah, I did. So, like I was saying, if I want to use like a full ampless setup with this, with an IR, this is how I pretty much would do it. I would use just the Zoom B6 to be my amp model, the preamp, and of course, and then I would pretty much have a send, use the send to go to the amp, and then use the dry XLR, or the main, the main output is the dry, the one that says dry. It's the main one. Goes to the XLR and the main output, which so basically you can send the XLR to the house and you'd have the IR on the going to the house but not going to your amp, and then bam, you're in business. And just well, I'm not going to even demo that, but just know that it's possible. I'll demo that another time. Here we go. So yeah, you know, here's my amp model setting. And you can just let me take this eye off so you can hear that by itself real quick while you're looking at the settings. So, nice little clean SVT setting, but you add that this SVT4 with the tweeters in there, you know, and it's amazing. You see these are my settings for that. So as you can see, it's very, sounds like a SVT full setup. It's like what else you running that into the house? You getting a little bit of the preamp by itself, which is this that sound. Mixing that with the IR. So you can go a whole gig just like that, and that's your whole setup, And then you didn't you only took your Zoom B6. You can have a complete amp setup in here, Now let's look at some other IRs with that same preamp while we got them on, because we got all these IRs. We got all of these IRs. I'm at the bare minimum going to try to show you guys some of my favorites. But I'm gonna try to get through a little bit of all of them. So let's go ahead and start with the SVT8 with the D20. So I'm just going to my kind of like my little default settings for stuff like this with these ampegs, or these IRs in general. So let's see. So as you can see, you can add tons of bottom to that. You can take it out, add plenty, take it out, plenty of highs. So while this may not be the most detailed IR loader and whatever, it's efficient. And when you're on a gig or you're trying to get to a sound, you can get right away. You only get four knobs. Sometimes having too many options isn't the best thing all the time. Having too many parameters, especially for gear that's meant to be used live, you really kind of need the sound to sit, just be right for the most part, and then be able to tweak it from there depending on the room, EQ wise or balance wise. So, but you ain't got time to be fiddling around with a whole bunch of stuff when you're on stage. You know, that's annoying. And it allows you to get right to everything real fast. You're not waiting. If I want to get to my new settings or my old settings or just duplicate things, it's not too many parameters to duplicate. So here we go with the SM57. Just to give you guys a few different little comparisons there with some of the settings. So let's keep moving right along. And they even give you one with the room mic. So on the stuff that doesn't have a tweeter, like a 810 ampeg cab doesn't have a tweeter. So they gave you two mic options. You can either get the D20 sound on there, or you can get the I believe it's a RE20 is what it's actually called, RE20. Electro voice something. I believe that's the RE20. The one they use for a lot of podcasts and a lot of other things. They're useful for a lot of stuff. Same way SM57 is useful for a lot of stuff. These are both acceptable options for miking cabinets all day and have been used in studios forever. So that's not even an issue. Let me make sure y'all can hear me good, man. Turn this up some. Yep. Testing, testing. Yep. So, yeah. Then we got the room mics. So, let's switch it out here. Let's keep moving right along. SVT4. And what I'll do is, just to keep the control a little more even, I'm going to go back to the Neve setup with the compressor and stuff. Just because the ampeg is coloring everything, and it's not, you're not hearing it, I mean, of course, the Neve does color things. It does color it a lot, actually. It gives you an amazing, like, clear saturation, but it doesn't color like the same way Ampeg does with distortion, like a little bit of overdrive grid. It's just certain things that harmonic distortion. That Ampeg is famous for. I don't really want that, and I don't want use the Aguilar to color it too much either. So I'm gonna go back. Matter of fact, while we're here, let's just go ahead to the B15 with the what I got in here. Yeah, that's no, we already did that. See, yeah, we just gonna go back to my other setup here. Set the right one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let me see. Nah, this is a different one. Let you guys hear a little bit of this too. And with this, I pushed the gain on the Neve pre to give it a little more saturation, but I didn't use as much boost and cut on that. And we'll use a different cabinet. Matter of fact, where is that at? That's not it. It probably was this one, actually. Let me see. Yeah, it was this one. Okay, so we're back. Um, and just so you guys can see me, it doesn't take long to do these patches either. You're just moving stuff around, adding stuff. This is how easy it is to make these patches for me. Let's go with a 4:1 ratio. And this is actually where it takes more time, like if you just use than just using the knobs. Okay. So we're back. Yep. So let me see. So don't need that mic quite that loud. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well. Here we go. Now let's swap out this IR to the SVT4. I'm gonna go back to the SVT8 real quick so you guys can hear those real quick. And again, just so you have a reference, here's my bass without with just the compressor and the preamp.